Hello, this is Mindy from the Weekend Gardener, and today I'd like to talk to you about propagating a philodendron. Now, philodendron is a wonderful plant to have inside. If you live in warm enough climates, you can actually use it as a landscape plant year-round. But besides that, philodendrons, believe it or not, can help you clean the air in your house. So they're a very important plant to have for your interior and landscape. Now, beyond that, there's a neat little trick about philodendrons. While there's lots of different types of philodendrons, the one thing that is unique about them is they make propagation so easy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Mother Nature has actually got this plant to set roots at each node. Now, it takes the environmental conditions to be right and the plant or stem to be mature enough to do that. But if you study the plant and you look, you will see little brown things coming off where leaf nodes are. And those are actually the roots. So when it comes to propagating a philodendron, just take advantage of what Mother Nature is giving you. So the first technique that I'm going to talk to you about is water rooting. Now, water rooting simply means is you're going to take a cutting, and I'm just going to pick a cutting here. You're going to cut it at an angle, and you're going to want at least 2 nodes or 2 leaves on your cutting. As you can see, I have more than that on this particular stem, but I'm going to make it my life easier so that this will stand up in a glass of water much easier. So I'm going to cut this off here at this node. I'm going to strip the leaves off, and I actually already have some roots coming, and then I would simply stick this in a glass of water, and in a couple of weeks this cutting will root. Now, you need to change the water periodically. Every few days, pour that water out and put fresh water in. Make sure that the leaves don't fall into the water, because if that happens, the leaf itself is going to rot and you're going to develop a bacterial problem and you're going to lose your cuttings. So that's one way. The other way is rooting it in soil. Now, you don't need rooting hormone. You don't need honey as a rooting hormone replacement. All you need is a container of soil. Now, the reason for that is because, again, Mother Nature has already set these roots for you along the leaf nodes. Now, having said that, though, you need to make sure that you prepare your container properly. And what I mean by that is you need to clean it with water with a cap full of bleach, scrub it. That will get rid of any plant disease, bacteria, fungus. It'll also kill any pest that might be on the container, and that needs to be done whether the container's new or old. You also need to make sure it has a drainage hole in the bottom so that the soil doesn't stay too wet. If that is the case, if the soil is too wet, the cutting will rot, and you need it to have some all-purpose potting soil. Also, don't forget the drainage material in the bottom. In this example, I just used a paper coffee filter as my drainage material. So what I did, I actually cut this. This is a pretty long piece of philodendron that I cut. I cut it pretty close to the pot. The reason being is it is going to create or force the plant to become bushier versus lanky, like this particular cutting is. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to cut at an angle. I'm going to get a couple of starts from this one cutting here. I'm going to look at how this stem is set and how the roots are growing, because I want to make sure that those roots are not on the top but into the soil. And then I'm just going to wiggle it around and cover that stem up with the soil. If you find that your philodendron stem seems to be coming up, take a hairpin and gently push the hairpin into the soil, and that will help hold the philodendron, making sure that that stem has contact with the soil. And once you do that, what I would suggest that you do is water from the bottom, not from the top, because watering from the top will dislodge that soil that is helping hold that stem down, and you can create an air pocket. Watering from the bottom will allow the soil to be evenly moist without disturbing the soil surface. In a couple of weeks, you'll have a brand new philodendron plant growing in this container. So until we meet in the garden again, this has been Mindy from the Weekend Gardener.